Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico and this is episode number 78. And tonight it is my great pleasure to introduce Stacey Donahue.
How you doing, Len?
Stacey, thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Episode 78.
78. That number means a lot to me.
What's going on with that?
78, I was 10 years old, and that was the very first time I ever heard Kiss.
All right, so which song was that?
Detroit Rock City.
Is that on the Destroyer album?
Yes, sir.
Man, I have that on vinyl somewhere in here.
So do I. Changed my entire life.
Bought in, I think, 1978, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was actually released in 76. But my mom had two older sisters, and their firstborn sons were both drummers, phenomenal drummers. My two cousins are absolutely incredible drummers. So he come into my aunt's house and had the Destroyer album and put it on the stereo, and I was just absolutely enthralled. I couldn't. After that, I couldn't get enough of it.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Right.
Still to this day, it's my favorite Kiss song.
Do you play it?
Yeah, I still just kiss out once in a while.
Stacey Donahue is a shredder guitar player.
Thank you.
You know, Columbus area musician. Stacey has a storied career in the Columbus music scene.
Yep.
And you're currently involved in at least one project I'm aware of. But what do you got going on currently, Stacey?
Right now, I'm back in my very first cover band in about 15 years. We're called Gel, playing with some great guys. Sean Ryan, the bass player, been friends with him well over 20 years. Jimmy Yank, drummer, phenomenal drummer. And John Mariachi, the singer, great guy. We're just having fun, having a blast.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So with Gel, that is a collective soul song.
Yeah, and we actually do that song.
And you do that song. What's the theme of the genre or the type of music you guys are playing in Gel?
We're doing 90s rock. Not so much the grungy stuff. I have a real hate love relationship with the 90s music because coming from the speed lick guitar player era, those guys didn't do a lot of solos, and that was like that wasn't cool to me. So but there was a lot of great music that come out in the 90s. You mentioned Collective Soul, Tonic, Alice in Chains, a lot of great stuff that come out in the 90s.
Sure.
Just took me 25 years to get used to listening to it.
Well, and here you are.
Yeah.
So you've got a book of gigs I've seen advertised on social media. When's your first gig coming up?
Actually, it's this Saturday at the Dolphin Lounge.
Do you remember the date? And so it's August
10th.
August 10th,
Yep.
2024
Yep.
As we're approaching that from this recording. But
Yes, and we start at 8 o'clock. It's the first cover gig I've done in a long time, minus tribute band stuff. I've been in and out of a couple tribute bands, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
So we got this show for Gel, 90s rock, your first show for this particular cover band.
Yep.
90s rock, 8 o'clock at the
Dolphin
world
Lounge.
famous Dolphin Lounge. Love the Dolphin Band.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a fun place to play.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I'm definitely planning to be there personally, because I think it's a great niche. I don't know how many bands are out there doing 90s rock like on a focused basis.
Yeah.
Like this.
It's funny because I actually wanted to do just that, and it seems like there's been a couple that has popped up recently. One Atomic Elbow with Mr. Matt Bradley and Charlie Guapo and Patrick. They seem to be doing a lot of 90s stuff, which is absolutely awesome. I mean, everything I've seen, I haven't seen them in person yet, but everything that I've heard, I mean, they're doing the same. There's so many songs from that era that, there's plenty of stuff to choose from.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you guys have 3 hours of music ready to go.
Yep.
for your first show,
Yep.
at least, that's a lot of work
Oh yeah.
driving up to a gig. How long have you guys been rehearsing as a band?
The first time we got together was probably October of last year. We were together a short time, and we did a benefit at El Dorado's for Dave Davis, and we played an hour set, and then shortly after that we lost our drummer, then lost the singer. So
Yeah.
um, it is what it is. So we've had to replace members, and that set us back some, but we were determined that we were going to do this no matter what. So yeah, this is very rewarding to start something from the ground up and go get the people and do the banners and do the work and do all of that stuff and finally get to take it out to the public. It's going to be really cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Happy for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling to bring it to a venue
Yeah.
and then have more shows booked.
Yep.
So I know you've got several
Yep.
coming, and I'm sure that will roll into the winter time, and then you'll be ready for booking in
Yep.
2025.
And
That'll be awesome.
that's something that I found out that I was absolutely a little shocked about was how far out clubs are booking now. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, "Oh, we're already halfway through 25 already," and I'm like, "What?"
And not every I don't think every venue is doing that, but some of the bands get pretty busy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and again, we just wanted to be a part of that. We want to bring something to, you know, the masses that you may not hear on a daily basis, or we're doing some mainstream songs, but then, I'm hoping we're going to throw some stuff out there that people go, "Oh, I remember that tune. That's a great song," or, what have you. So, we're not beating down the beaten path, but we're trying to, bring some songs in from the outside also. So
Yeah, for sure.
it'll be interesting. There's a lot of everything. Some Eagles, some Tom Petty. Yes, they did release songs in the '90s. So
Good ones too.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're having fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
So you're a guitar player.
Yep,
How many guitar players are in Joe?
just me.
So
We're
you're
a four-piece.
okay,
Yep.
four-piece banger.
Yep. Now, I take that back because John not only is a great singer, he is a guitar player, so he will be playing on select songs. So, but he's more of a rhythm, type guy. But it's nice to have that, if you need a little bit of fill in here or there, or we do some harmony stuff, or. So it's nice to have a singer that can play, with only four people in the band, that's less mouths to feed come pay time.
Oh yeah, multi instrumentalists
Yeah.
are always
Yeah,
awesome.
and Sean plays in a Rush tribute band, but he doesn't want to play keyboards in this. It's too much to lug around, so he's just going to do strictly bass and backing vocals, and
I think I've met Sean.
he's a great
He's a
guy.
sweetheart.
He is. I love him like a brother. I
Yeah,
mean,
his Rush tribute band is pretty awesome.
yes, yes, they are. I actually played in that band for a short time as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you guys are out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And this show will be fun Saturday.
Oh
Looking forward
yeah.
to it.
I can't wait. Like I said, you know, I've always been the one that leaned more toward doing the original stuff. Like I was saying earlier, I never sat in my bedroom learning to play guitar going, "I can't wait to be a jukebox on Saturday night." But, there's a time and place for everything. I wanted to make it, I wanted to be Ace Frehley and all my idols and Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen, but unfortunately that wasn't in the cards. And, so I'm just, my age, I'm just relegating myself to the fact that, I can go out and have fun. I can drink a couple beers, hang out with my friends, and jam some cool tunes. So,
Dude, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about,
yeah.
is it not?
And I still
That you're
get to,
having fun, doing the best that you can do,
yeah,
and relishing in those experiences.
right. And I still get to play guitar. It's not original stuff, but yeah, I still get to play. And some of that stuff, the '90s gets somewhat of a bad rap for, being super simple or whatever. Some of the songs we're doing isn't like super simple. There's still some challenge to it. So, that's cool. Plus, I get to throw in my own flavor, so that makes it fun. You know, we're not playing everything exactly note for note, you know.
You're doing it how you're doing it.
Yeah. And again, we're just having fun. That's the main thing. Just
Good.
having fun.
Dude, I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting too because I think prior to you doing this, I may have caught glimpses of you at Osheki's like 20 some years ago, you
Probably.
know,
Yeah.
like out in the scene. And I'm like,
Yep.
who is that guitar player? And I've heard your name thrown around, you know.
Yeah. And now we're friends. Look at that.
That's
So.
sweet. That's good stuff. Yeah, we see each other out at shows all the time. And we've
Absolutely.
seen you at your show,
Yeah.
which is good.
I uh, I've been in several. I'm not actually from Columbus. I'm from the outer area, but where I was from, nobody wanted to be serious, and nobody wanted to, to create and do what I wanted to do. I was always the one that was the demanding, come on, we got to practice. And everybody was more worried about getting high or smoke or drinking a beer or whatever. And I wanted to play, I wanted to make music. So it was probably 98. I made the decision. And then I spent from 87 up until that point at the Alrosa Villa. Oh my God, we were at the Alrosa constantly. We lived at the Alrosa. But I just thought that if I'm going to do anything and it's going to be serious, I'm going to have to go to Columbus and find people that want to be serious and make music. And that was another thing in my area. People didn't do original music. It was all cover songs. And you come down here to go to the Alrosa and you see all these bands doing original music. And I was just shocked. I mean, you know, all those guys back in the day, it was just an absolute treat to not even to see a national band, just a local talent. I was
And
like, oh my
they're
God.
playing their music, right?
Right. Yeah. Like bands like Shanghai, Tamerlane, Dr. Lecter. I mean, Saddleback Shark with Rob and John. So, I mean, I relish that stuff. We went to the Alrosa constantly. So I just made up my mind that I was going to travel to Columbus, and I've been doing it for 26 years now,
Good for you.
playing in the Columbus scene.
That's awesome.
And met a lot of great people. So I'm, having a blast. Played a lot of cool places in town. Some places I've played don't even exist anymore. So,
It's
but
amazing how the scene will change,
yeah,
physically. But
yeah.
you're definitely someone who has been driven since day one.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, how old were you when you knew you were a guitar player?
Well, going back to the story to my cousins, I figured I was the firstborn. I should be a drummer. So, I was pounding out Kiss songs on, the practice pad and doing my paradiddles and all that stuff with the sticks. But it was funny when I would listen to the Kiss albums, I just heard that lead part, and I didn't even know what it was. I took it to my uncle and I was like, "Hey," I said, "What is this sound right there?" And he goes, "Oh, that's lead guitar." And I was like, "That's what I
That's what I
want."
wanted. That stuff,
Yeah. So
that cool stuff.
without even hesitation, God rest his soul, the guy was an absolute genius when it came to music. But he literally went to his room, got me an amp and a guitar, and sent me home without even hesitation. I mean, he really pushed people to get into music because he loved it so much. They had a family band where he played sax and guitar and sang, and then my aunt played keyboards, and then my oldest cousin played drums. He could play drums and trumpet at the same time.
That's pretty wild.
Then his younger brother played bass. So they literally went out and played 50s and 60s tunes all over this area. And, so I was around music from the get go. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was inevitable to happen, but Kiss really put me right over the edge.
78.
78.
It's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
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 Episode 78 too.
Yeah, I was 10 years old, so
Wow.
changed my whole entire life.
So you're hitting Alrosa Villa, you're digging the scene.
Yeah.
So you're
Park Avenues.
realizing how that. So Park Avenue was
Yeah.
a club.
Yeah.
Um,
We would go see Trigger Zone. Oh my God, Trigger Zone, man, they would just thump your head. And I loved it. Most of the time, it was the harder, the better. And I just flipped out on Trigger Zone. They were absolutely incredible.
where they were playing these same clubs. They were
Yeah, Alrosa, yeah,
playing.
Park Avenues, yeah.
Wow.
And they would go to Newport and open for nationals. I mean, all of those guys, that's just what was going on back then. I just remember being like, oh, I want to be a part of that so bad, because these guys are serious. They had all long hair and,
So you're seeing all this, and obviously you're working on
yep,
guitar
every night and day.
yourself.
Yep.
How were you able to get into the Columbus music scene? Because
But
you've made some pretty substantial contributions, I
yeah,
think, right?
thank
Like,
you. When I first came down here, believe it or not, I joined a country band.
yeah,
Her
that's
name, she was 15 at the time. Her name was Brandy Lynn Howard, and she had sang at Loretta Lynn's Ranch. She had won awards from the Country Music Association, and her manager was like, "Look, here's what I'm offering if you want to do this." And we were playing county fairs in the state of Ohio. It was an absolute blast. And I met a lifelong friend from, that Jason Greenwald, an absolute stellar musician in his own, keyboards, vocals, great guy. So I did that for probably about a year and a half, and the metal started calling again. So I had the need to play the metal. So
it's so metal. So where was all that coming from? What were you listening to that got you into like metal rock?
oh man, I'll never forget when again Ace Frehley was the first thing that I heard. But then we were walking to school one day. This was eighth grade, and my buddy had this little Darren had this little Panasonic tape player, and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "you got to check out this cassette I got." So we're literally ear to ear holding this little Panasonic cassette player walking to school, and it was Van Halen, Fair Warning. And I was like, "What is that, man? Oh my God." So then it was a rapid succession of I heard Randy Rhoads from Diary of a Madman album, and then um, my sophomore year in high school, we were allowed to hear or listen to our Walkmans in study hall. So this drummer friend of mine, he was like, "Hey man," he said, "you're just, been in the guitar for a little bit." He said, "Here, take this to study hall." And I'm like, "What's this?" I didn't even know how to pronounce the guy's name. But I went to study hall and put that cassette in my Walkman, and it was Yngwie Malmsteen, "I'll See the Light Tonight." And I was like, "Oh my God, how is he doing that fast?" I was blown away. So a friend of mine had went to GIT out in California, and he'd been to Heidelberg College, and I was like, "You got to give me, you got to show me what he's doing, the theory, all of that stuff." And I just picked day and night, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's all I did. I wanted to play so fast, be the fastest guy ever. But you grow up, and some of that's gone by the wayside now. I still enjoy some of it, but
Do you think that you've developed your own style when you do your original writing at this point? Or are you still,
I don't.
leaning on some of those techniques that you've learned from
Yeah,
some other guitar players that you,
and in today's day and age, man, I don't know how much really original you can be. But my influences will always come out. Ingve, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. I mean, all that early '80s metal. You know, that's loudness. That's still the stuff that I still put it on and I go, "Oh man, I wish I'd have wrote that song." Oh man, I still love all of that stuff, and it'll always come out. I mean, I constantly still write songs, and all of that stuff comes out. But as far as trying to pursue, there's no reason to, if I record and write something really cool, I may release it to the internet or what have you. But there just isn't really any point anymore.
it's tough. It's tough,
It
man.
is.
I like to do it, and I haven't done it in a while either, but just for just pure enjoyment to create
Oh
something
yeah.
from nothing,
Right.
from a drum track that you're inspired by, and you just lay down layers and add different instrumentation. I mean, that process. That's a very I don't know. It's therapeutic for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's a great it's a great way to spend some time. It's
Yeah.
creative.
And the first one of the most successful original bands I had, the first 8 songs we played, I programmed the drums on the computer. I played the bass. I played all the guitars, and worked with the singer to develop the lines. Because I'm a okay backup singer, but I don't know how putting words to music is a whole nother weird thing that I don't understand. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll write the music and you do that, you know. So, but yeah, I still love to create. In between learning cover songs, I'm always fiddling around. If I hit on something, I'll stop and, you know, see how far it goes, develop it. And, you know, it's just, I still love to play the guitar. I really do. And it's been since I was 12.
So
So
awesome.
long time.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. The only thing that's been in my life longer than her is Kiss and guitars.
So when you say her, he's pointing to Lori.
Yep.
How long you guys been married?
38 years.
That's awesome.
Well, been together for 38 years. Yeah.
Awesome.
Been married for
8. At 34.
34.
34.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. She's a handful, but
Please.
Well, she is wearing a day drinker shirt. I can only imagine.
yeah. But no, I mean, dude, when I do a gig, I love to have her there. I mean, I don't care if nobody else was out there. I love to perform for her.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's just, I
I'm
love,
not allowed not to go.
yeah, I love to perform for her, you know.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
So, how'd you actually get acclimated into Columbus scene and actually, you know, moving forward in a project that was, you know, being played out live and
well, after the country thing, like I said, I wanted to get back into playing metal. And I actually started doing, by this time we had internet and, you know, you could do your searches or whatever. So I was doing searches constantly and I come across this website that it said White Raven. And all these guys had real long hair. And I was like, there's no way this is recent. I told her, I said, this has to be really old. But it said, we are looking for a guitar player. Call this number. So I called the number and there was no answer. So I called the second number and got an answer, and it was Brian, the guitar player. And I was like, dude, this is my stuff. I said, you know, I want to try out. So long story short, went down there, tried out, and still have friends from that band that I talk to all the time. Great bass player that's been in the scene forever, Andy. Oh my God, Andy was absolutely incredible. He played with Brothers Grimm and, you know, big dude in the little dude in the big Columbus scene. But yeah, Andy was an absolute sweetheart. I still talk to all those guys. Um, and we played out in Columbus for years. I mean, we were the 80s band to go see for a long time. I mean, we did, again, we did songs that you knew, but we tried to get off the beaten path every once in a while. I mean, when other people were doing Megadeth, uh, the one hit that they had, we were doing Hangar 18, you know. So instead of we were trying to expand,
streamlined.
yeah, a little bit more and get outside the box. We did Crocus and, you know, some of the other stuff that other bands weren't doing at the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing with those guys, and it was a lot of fun. And we played all over Columbus. I mean, all over. It was a blast.
Were you hitting bars or were you at the bigger spots?
Mainly bars, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just seemed like we were almost playing every weekend. It seemed like Merry Melodies was a fun place to play. I don't know if you remember Merry Melodies, but that place was a fun place to play. Great stage, great sound. Yeah, it was a lot of fun back then. You know,
So cool.
yeah, that was early 2000s, like 2000. I think my first show with them was 2002 at Cadillac Jack's down in front of the hotel down there in Grove City. I think it was that what it was called? Cadillac Jack's? Yeah.
Yep.
So we played there all the time. That was a fun place to play, you know, and we played a lot. So, and I had 2 trips around with those guys because we decided to do a reunion tour or a reunion get together. And, you know, we went out and did some shows, and that was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. So then after that, you know, being in Columbus, I played with a couple of original bands. I, obviously, I did the Sweet Leaf thing where you saw me. We had a Judas Priest tribute band called Judas Rising. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that Osheki's venue at
Hmm.
the Continent
Yeah.
really, I thought, embraced the metal.
Yep.
Uh,
That was our home away from home.
you know,
Sam Levy really did a lot for, booking bands and getting bands in there, and there was always something going on. And that was another place that later became a hangout. Was, even if we weren't playing, we'd go see bands at Osheki's. That was, a really fun place to, go hang out, see bands. And Sam was always, cool, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
and a lot of that. Were you doing original music then, or like tribute type stuff? Because I think I saw you doing like Aussie based
Yeah, we
material.
Sweet Leaf,
Yeah,
we played in there a lot. The Judas Rising band played in there, but then later on, toward the end of it, I got with another original band out of Cincinnati, and we played in there. So I played Osheki's doing both, which I'll expand on that here in a little bit.
that's okay. That'd be cool.
But yeah, and there was a lot of cool places to play around town, and I always enjoyed coming down here and doing gigs here, and then we'd drive back to the quiet countryside and out in the sticks. But
And do your thing.
yeah,
It's all good. What are some of your experiences that you you can share with us, during that time, the Asheki era, I'll call it, right? Like that was what, in the 90s? Am I thinking right?
no, that was
Or,
probably early, probably 2003 to 10, maybe 2010, somewhere
yeah,
around in there.
When did you quit this morning?
15. So yeah, maybe longer than that.
yeah, that's a good stretch
Yeah,
of band participation
yeah.
and you were I think a sought after guitar player during that time, were you not?
Yeah, for a while. I mean, I never had a problem finding people to play with. I
Right.
mean, I never have.
Right. And
So
that was your goal, man, right? Like you were,
yeah,
on the outskirts,
yeah,
you really got the desire, you did something for yourself, right?
yeah,
You inserted yourself and got to know folks.
yeah. And it didn't take long. I mean,
It doesn't take long,
yeah,
does it?
people were very welcoming, and I would always explain my story. I'm not from here, just right up the road, basically. But I'm not from Columbus. But yeah, I've spent 26 years driving down here and playing in bands. A couple of the bands we would have practice twice a week, and I would drive here twice a week to play, or way early on. But yeah, I never regretted a second of it. Like I said, I've met a lot of great people, so never regretted a second of it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
You you've been able to keep your lifestyle. It seems on the in the. Is it fair to say you live in the country
yeah,
outside of the Columbus area, and then
yep,
coming in, it seems you're able to have a dichotomy of existence of relaxation in the country, but then also the heavy rock existence.
yeah,
Have you been behaving yourself, Stacey? Like that's a lot of years to be in the music,
yeah,
original a lot of original music, right? The
lots.
last 15, 20
Yeah,
years, driving some of that forward.
yeah. Mainly original bands. Like I said, if I jumped into a cover band or a tribute band, it was to fill that need to be on stage. Man, there's nothing like that. That's like a drug in itself, is to be on that stage in front of people. So
In front of Lori.
yeah, exactly. So I could go show off.
Still trying to impress.
But the cover thing was just a quick, easy way to get in front of people and fill that void while I was trying to, find people to play original stuff. And it's extremely hard to find people and keep people interested in the original stuff. If it's hard to present your vision to somebody and make them come in and be not a side person, but here's all the songs, put your stuff to it. And some people really get a charge out of that, but I was always the guy that was booking the shows and writing the songs and making the banners and doing the PR. And I, not that I'm a control freak by any means, but it was just a way to keep things, like you said, moving along.
Yeah, keep the momentum rolled
Right.
forward.
Yep. And out of necessity, one of the original bands we had turned into the Judas Priest tribute band because we couldn't find a bass player. So we kept bringing all these guys in and they weren't working out. And we were like, well, can you play? You got another thing coming and breaking the law? And they would play those songs. And my drummer was like, well, let's just be a Judas Priest tribute band. So that's what we did for a while till we found a bass player, So it's just one of those things you got to kind of just go along with the flow or what's happening, So
And it's tough to find the right venue at the right size.
Yeah.
Where you are in your evolution.
Right.
To play originals all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the other thing. There's a lot more clubs in this town that book cover music as opposed to original music. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what it is,
Right.
So it's easier, and I'm not saying, lazy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's easier to get people interested in doing that because they know they're going to make money. I mean, I know people that play strictly for the money, and if that's your thing, that's cool. I got no problem with that, but uh, there is no money in original music, none. You pay for everything. That's just
You
the way
do, and then if you stream, you're just getting like
nothing.
pennies.
Yeah.
If that.
I mean, the Peter Frampton thing, he had 2 million streams on Spotify and got a check for like $300 or so. What is that? And people complain about paying $500 for a ticket. Well, you're not buying the CDs anymore. These bands got to get their revenue somehow, So you can't replicate them playing live. So we're going to charge you $500 to see us play live because you won't buy a CD. Back in our day, I mean, I got probably 600 store-bought CDs. Both of my kids are huge music lovers. Don't own one real store-bought CD. That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
It's amazing, and honestly, it's the same thing's happening to our data, like going into the cloud,
Right.
like wherever that is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't own our data.
Yeah.
It's accessible elsewhere. I mean, there might be some information security wrapped around it, but eventually someone will crack in.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. And
Anything.
music. It really the face of the industry is chaos.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I remember when we first got a computer downloading Napster, and then all of this stuff come out with Lars, and he's like, "Oh, you don't download my songs," and I'm like, what a prick, dude. You've made millions and millions of dollars. And I just didn't, understand at that point because it was so in its infancy where that was going to go. But oh my God, dude, he was 100% right. Computers destroyed the music industry, destroyed it
Yep.
because you can't create something and get paid for it. People just think, oh well, that song's out there. I'll just download it myself. Well, that's creativity. That's like going into the Smithsonian and stealing a painting off the fucking wall.
And putting it on your wall. Yeah, I know.
I mean, essentially, that's what it is.
And then sending it back and getting a different one when your mood changes.
Right.
For this.
Yeah. I mean,
Stream.
somebody created that. Somebody needs to be paid for it.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. I'm like, the Stones have made billions. Who cares if I download, Give Me Shelter? Well, he was 100% right. I mean, he saw what was going on, and that's exactly where it went. So now we pay $500 for tickets. Me and you just talked. I saw my first concert right across the way over here at Vets Memorial, and I saw Keel Helix and Accept, and I paid $650 for the ticket. $650.
What year was that? Is that from 70?
1985.
Oh, 85?
Yep. Accept was on the Metal Heart tour.
Damn.
Yep. 85. That was my first concert. Yeah.
Good deal.
But yeah, things are crazy. And again, I still love to create, but getting thousands and thousands of people to buy that's not gonna, that's just there's too much out there. I mean, it's saturated with, so much stuff, It's crazy. I mean, you can go on YouTube and type in new metal music and just, I mean, you can sit there for hours and you might hear one or two really good bands that just blow you away. Um, just heard of this band not too long ago called Eclipse. They've been out for 8 years overseas. 8 years, released 7 albums, and we just heard them. I'm blown away. I mean, they're absolutely incredible. But I'm like, how can something in this day and age, how can something like that exist for 8 years? Because I kind of pride myself on keeping up with, what's new and what's
Finding the new
hot
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always prided myself on that. And I was absolutely shocked to find out these guys been over there for 8 years and have released 7 albums. So as big as you think it is, it's still kind of isolated too, depending on, where you're at in the scheme of things, I guess. So
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it.
yeah,
So here you are today. You're starting up a cover band.
yeah,
Chill.
yeah. And our singer, or the bass player, we had our very first practice and we learned 12 songs and whipped right through those songs like we'd been playing them forever. And the bass player goes, "Wow, man, we really gelled." And everybody went, "Dude, that's awesome. Let's call ourselves Gel."
Yeah.
So that's how, it's not the Collective Soul song, but it's because of what the bass player said.
It fits.
Yeah, that was literally as simple as that. Well, then we found out there's another Gel in New Jersey that's, but who cares about that?
Who cares about that? Wow. So, what's going to be your first song? You going to tell us, or we have to go to the show and find out, don't we?
Yeah. No, I'll tell you the first song. Guess what? It's Gel.
How did I know? How did I know?
Yeah, that's literally the first song that we open up with. Then after that, you got to come and find out.
For sure.
I'm not telling you anything else.
Can't wait.
But here's the other thing. Unlike the 90s, when it wasn't cool to put on a stage show and everybody come out in their wrinkled up jeans and their flannel t-shirt, we absolutely do not do that. We have a stage show, we have lights, you know. So we're putting the 80s stage show to 90s songs.
I love it. Love it.
So people won't be bored when they come to see us, I guarantee it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
And again, man, thank you so much for having me come down here and do this. I'm having an absolute
Well, yeah,
blast.
I thought that it would be great timing too, because your show is Saturday.
Yeah.
Here we are on Tuesday, and
Yeah.
so we'll release this episode tonight, and
Oh, awesome.
hopefully we'll get some folks to come see you at the Dolphin.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are you gonna talk about this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so a number of bands that you've been known to be in. Are there a couple that you want to kind of talk through?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. When I first got the computer and I found out you could reach out to anybody, oh my God, dude. I started a campaign of firing off, "Hey, I play guitar and here's a sample of me playing and I want to be in your band," and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I'm talking like Joey Belladonna from Anthrax I've talked to, um, Leather Wolf out in California, just on and on. And not a lot of people know this. And if my computer wouldn't have crashed, I'd have printed it out. But I have a witness. I got a nice rejection letter from Wendy Dio when Dio was looking for a guitar player in about 2006. I think that's when Doug was exiting. And I thought, hey, why not throw my hat in the ring? So I sent them 2 songs, one that I wrote and one was an instrumental, and actually got a letter back. And she was like, "We really enjoyed your playing. Thought it was really good, but unfortunately, we're going back with uh, the Greg Goldie that they had previous."
Yeah.
So that was cool. So again, I thought, well, maybe I'll reach out to some more closer to home type people that maybe I could get involved with. So one of my favorite guitar players from back in the day was David Chastain from Cincinnati. So his bass player, guy named Mike Skimmerhorn, we started up a conversation one night over biscuits and gravy, and we got together. I went down there. We recorded an album. We went on tour with Doro Pesh for 12 dates in 15 days, 3 in Canada. I mean, so for those 3 weeks, yes, I actually did get to live, my dream for as short lived as it was. It was absolutely awesome waking up in another city and then driving to another city. I wish I could have done it my whole entire life, but he afforded me something that I'd not gotten to that point, and I'll always be really thankful for that. And
That
you,
is so cool.
yeah, you can still get a Mighty Swine CD. It's great music. I'm very proud of all the stuff that I recorded on there. It was very nerve wracking to sit in a studio and record in front of Mike Skimmerhorn that played with David Chastain, one of the best guitar players in the world. But you got to do what you got to do. I've played in bands in Cleveland. I played in bands in Dayton. I've played in bands in Cincinnati, Akron. So you got to go where the action is, I guess. And I've always done that. I've never been shy.
You don't strike me as shy, but you also strike me as somebody who is going to create an opportunity for yourself,
Yeah,
right? You're not sitting
absolutely.
around waiting for something to happen.
Nope, I've never been that person.
You also, I think, always have, it seems to me, to have a point of view of what you think it should be. How have you learned that concept, that vision, gets heard
Yeah.
to folks and embraced and kind of augmented with some of their thoughts as well.
I've always equated it to 4 or 5 people in a car. Okay. You're all on the same path, but somebody has to have their hands on the steering wheel or you're going to crash and die.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily the leader, but somebody has to be steering that thing or you're in big trouble. So, and you can have different drivers, within, but somebody constantly has to have their hands on the wheel. It's just the way it is. So it seems like a lot of times I've been that person because I've started the band or I had an idea like Gel. This was 100% my idea. Luckily, I've found great players who are totally on board with it, and now it's become our band. So and it's great, and that's another really cool feeling in and of itself when you start something and other people are totally on board and they spend their time and their energy to come to practice and go to shows and put their money into it. I mean, we just bought banners and it's really cool that happens. And I know that's what being in a band is, obviously. But it's like I said, it's cool when you have the idea and other people get on board and it actually gets off the ground. So Saturday night is our get off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually heard Mark Chatfield when he was here with the Gods current lineup.
Hmm.
They did an episode, and he said, you can practice for a year, you can be in the basement rehearsing for a year, but until you get on stage
Yep.
in front of people, and perform as a band, you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't.
And you learn real quick,
Yeah.
and
Because
you have to make some sort of adjustment.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it sounds great to us in the basement. It sounds killer, but you don't know until you put it out there in front of the big world. How's this going to. And I do when I'm playing. I watch people's faces. I see how people react. I watch. Are they getting up to dance to this song? Or are they when we start this song? Are they going to get a drink? All of that plays into it. So you want to keep your set list ever evolving, and I mean 3 years from now we don't want to be playing these same songs, but yeah, so you know and my buddies in Clubber Lang do that a lot. They're constantly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every week there's at least 3 new tunes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and dude, I'm telling you, I love those guys to death, every one of them. And I'm telling you right now, if you get a chance to go see those guys, go see those guys. Man, they are absolutely incredible. I can't say enough about them guys.
they're each very special
Oh, absolutely.
in their own right, and when they come together, it really is a great. If you're a fan of rock music,
Yep.
Clubber Lang's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
No question about it.
Yep.
And they are a personal favorite of mine as well. I share everybody in this room's
Yep.
enthusiasm
Oh,
for that particular band.
yep.
You know,
There's
because
just something about what they do.
I and I've said this to I think just about every one of them, but I kind of equate their cool factor to the Cult.
Yeah.
They're just straight up, no nonsense.
Yep.
I'm in your face with this rock music because that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Unapologetic
Yep.
and well done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then you have Seth's charisma on top of that.
Yeah.
The showmanship of
Yeah,
of,
the
of, of
showmanship.
Seth
Yep.
Yeah.
and the drummer. We're crying out
Oh,
loud.
yeah.
Yeah, the drummer.
I mean,
Yeah.
you think he'd be out in the front? I love him.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a. They're all
They
great human
they are.
beings.
Yep.
They're
Rob
just
Rob with
beautiful.
two B's, great bass player. I mean, they're all, they have something special. I'm sure they realize it, but
They know.
it would be cool.
know.
It would be cool for them to be able to see it on our side. What they do.
There's nothing like it.
Right. The first time we went and saw them, I mean, my jaw was literally on the floor. I'm like, seriously?
So did you know Rob Johnson back in the
Saddleback Shark days, absolutely. Yep, yep. Went to see them many times. Yep. My friends from Marion had a band called Rikers, and they did 100% originals. And they finally, it took them years to get their foot in the door with Rick Catella at the Alrosa, but they come down and made a splash. That was the first time I ever saw Shanghai. Rick Martellino on the drums. Yeah, I mean, those guys were something. I was like, what the hell is this? Rob, going crazy on the guitar and John on the drums. It's
insane.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, like I said, we lived at the Alrosa for many, 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 many years, right up until the very end, damn near. So
Wow,
yeah,
it's all good.
yeah.
Anything else that you want to pull from the archive, Stacy, and bless us with a tale of rock and roll?
Uh, uh, real cool story. So, I don't know. A lot of people know Raven, the new wave British heavy metal band Raven. So we're sitting there one Friday night, and Lori was just getting out of the shower. I'd been out of the shower, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, Raven in Hilliard, Ohio, at a place called the Satan's Den. I'm like, what? I've played a lot of clubs in Columbus, but I've never heard of this Satan's Den thing. So I told her, I said, for $10, man, I want to go see Raven. So we jumped in the car and took off, and I put the address in the GPS, and we're driving and driving and driving. And on my phone, you see the little pin where you're going. And I'm like, there's nothing out here but fucking cornfields. What's going on here? So we drive up in front of this beautiful big home, and Lori goes, don't drive back that driveway. And I'm like, I've come all this way. I'm driving back that driveway. She was freaking out. So we drove back the driveway, and lo and behold, in this guy's big ass garage, he's doing underground concerts in Hilliard. So
Is this still going on?
not so much anymore.
Okay.
Because the city wasn't cool with it. So
So what year were we
So-
talking roughly?
oh, this was like what, 17, 16, maybe something like
So
15,
not
16.
too long
Yeah.
ago, pre-COVID.
Yeah. So we go out there and hang out, and it's funny because I'm assuming we're going to a bar, and we're in the middle of this cornfield out in Hilliard, so we didn't bring any drinks or nothing. So it's funny, Michael Hannon from American Dog was standing in there, and I go over and start talking to him, and I'm like, dude, who owns this joint? I said, I thought I was going to a bar. I have no drink, nothing. And he's like, I think that guy over there. So I went over and introduced myself. Coolest guy you ever want to meet, Steve Yoder. He walked over to his cabinets, all these cabinets in the garage filled with Jack. And he said, the Coke's in the refrigerator. Have a great night. And he walked off. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That was like one of the coolest things ever.
For sure.
So we see Raven for $10 in this guy's garage in Hilliard. They're a new wave of British heavy metal band. And I'm going, oh my God. So, we've been friends with some of those people for, quite some time, and, have had several parties out there. It's a great time. But
You recorded your video there?
yeah, my band, original band, Sanity Remains, we recorded our video in his garage bar. Absolutely. He's got games and dartboards and all
So
kinds of
cool.
stuff. It's awesome.
So cool.
But it's just like, it was music gathering people together for, the common purpose. And there's a lot of great bands in Columbus right now, man. A lot of talent. You just mentioned somebody a minute ago I saw for the first time, and oh my God, I was blown away. Julie Neal. If you have not seen that lady sing,
Late night.
oh my God.
She's such a force. She
Wow.
really is.
I was
Yeah.
I was blown away. We went to, funny enough, hang out with Clubber Lang at Leon's Garage, and Late Night Alibi was playing, and oh my God, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. I mean, she was just like,
So, no, I think I was there that night.
I think so, yeah.
I remember. I see you guys everywhere.
Well, because that's just right down from where we live.
Right, Marysville, yeah. So,
I
but
love Marysville. What a sweet.
oh yeah,
And to have Leon's in
Yeah.
Marysville, Ohio, is such a gift.
Yeah.
There's a couple of nice venues in the Marysville area.
oh yeah, Benny's Pizza's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
QFM 96 obviously is doing their bike nights at Leon's. I mean, it's a great stage in there, man. I can't wait to play that stage, I hope. Hint, hint, hint.
Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta bake the products.
Yeah. And that's it. You got to get your foot out there and start getting gigs. And I mean, we've got 4 gigs lined up already. So
So
I'd say already, but I mean, we've kind of been at this almost a year, but
you
it
had
just
those
seems
early bumps,
right.
That got worked out.
Right. But it just seems like once you get rolling, it really starts rolling. And man, there are so many good bands out there. And I don't really feel it's more camaraderie than a competition thing. I mean, you got so many great bands out there, like Distorted Silence. Of course, we've mentioned Clubber Lang, Late Night Alibi, Lost Boys,
Yep.
Hot Lucy, Megabeth, Phoenix Rising, Headbangers Hangover. I mean, oh my God, Bethany, absolutely incredible vocals.
Killing it.
So
Killing it.
yeah, there's a lot of
Sells great jewelry.
but there's a lot of great music. I mean, you can catch any Friday and Saturday night in Columbus, and we're just happy to be a part of it. I mean, we're going to go out and do our little part, and we're absolutely ecstatic to be a part of it. So
It's a great example, man. It sounds like you've adjusted along the way.
Yeah.
From 78 forward,
Yeah,
you've adjusted.
it wasn't easy. I'll be straight up with you. It took me a long time to reconcile that I'm never going to be a rock star, because that's when I was sitting in my room learning to play guitar. It wasn't to be Saturday Night Jukebox hero. I wanted to play in front of 30,000 people. That was the goal.
Yep.
But again, at the age that I'm at, I think I can go out and have some drinks and have some fun and play for my friends and have a good evening and, have a blast.
More power to you.
Thank you.
And so, how many guitars do you have?
Oh,
Lori's face dropped.
9.
8 or
Oh,
9.
8, because you sold the.
Well, 8 or 9, and I have a bass.
Really?
Yeah, I still play bass on occasion, just for shit together. Writing, if I come across something, I'm like, wow, let's see what this bass line sound like. I'll get out the bass and, play.
Do you have a style of guitar that you
Les Paul,
period?
Ace Frehley, Randy Rhoads, they all played Les Pauls. I have 6 Les Pauls.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your number one?
Oh, probably my light blue Les Paul. That thing is absolutely awesome. But here, I just got an Ace Frehley signature Gibson Les Paul. Oh my God. It's got his autograph on it. It's got his face on it.
Is it a burst?
Yeah, the orange with the triple pickups, the
No
whole
way.
deal. Oh yeah. And it's absolutely awesome. But yeah, I just acquired that. So I don't know if that'll be going out to shows or whatnot. Maybe, but I don't know.
Is it 3 pickup?
3 pickups, yeah.
Oh, dude.
And it's the red and yellow sunburst, or red and orange, just like he played. Yeah. Yeah, I still love
So
these.
you know Cool Chin.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was that close to playing in a Kiss tribute band.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have to jam with you sometime. I
Oh,
have
absolutely.
to.
Yeah.
I don't
That'd
even
be
play guitar, second guitar. Maybe we'll play tonight when we're done, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
absolutely.
Just for a little while. I don't know what you guys got going on.
Nothing.
It's
Good.
Tuesday night.
Got a bunch of kids at home or anything crazy?
Our kids are grown up and gone.
Dogs or whatever?
3 cats. All musicians have cats. You can
Just
leave
you
them.
gonna leave
Yep.
them for a week.
So yeah, we got 3 cats. Yep.
Well, that's good. So all Les Paul, you have 7 Les Pauls.
Yep.
I love Les Pauls, but
Yeah.
I like Telecasters too.
Yeah, and I have a couple of Epiphones. I like the Epiphones too. They're a lot less light or a lot less heavy.
Yep.
Still get the good tone. You know, they're easy to play if you set them up. And I mean, my light blue one is absolutely incredible guitar. Sounds like a monster. Weighs, I mean, it's super heavy, but it's the Epiphone. I absolutely love it. And they're cheap to get.
And
So,
it's the tone.
yeah.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear it Saturday night because it'll be there. My baby blue one.
All right. So what are you fronting then? What kind of amplifier are you using these days?
I've always been partial to Randall's. I've used Randall's all the way even back to Mighty Swine. I almost had an endorsement with Randall because that's all I used was Randall heads, Randall cabinets. They just got Dimebag Darrell used Randall stuff and and
It's good for him. It's good for you.
yep. And funny enough, I don't like the tubes. I like the solid state. So all you tube freaks out there, I like the solid state ones.
That's interesting.
Yeah, just for metal, it seems to have more punch. Boom, you get that real tight, tube sometimes. I don't know. It's just a different thing.
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, especially the way you play,
Yeah.
your style.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's why I say, when I say 90s, people probably go, ugh. But when you come in here, it's not going to sound like the 90s. I do it with my metal and, the drummer. Yeah, we're pumping up some tempos on some stuff. So, yeah, you're going to notice the 90s songs, but it's not going to be like how you heard it on the radio.
Come rock out with Stacey Donahue.
Please, we'll have a blast, I promise.
90s tunes,
Yeah.
but
With a twist.
with a twist. That's cool. Do you have any effects or effect boxes?
Yep.
How are you shaping your tone as a guitar player?
I used the Digitech way, way back. I had a Digitech GNX 1000. My buddy owned a music store, and he's like, "Man, you got to come and hear this thing. It does everything but wash the dishes." So it had like 3 pedals, and a volume pedal on it, and you could control your own sound, and you could put everything you could think of on your tone. So that thing lasted me for 25 years probably, man. And when it went down, I just about teared up. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, my sound is gone. Because I could literally run that thing through a bass amp. I could run it through a Marshall. I could run it through a Fender Twin, and it would still sound like me because everything came from that, foot pedal. So again, my buddy calls me up and he goes, "You got to come and check out these new Digitech. They're the DP 1000. So it's all metal and switches on it. You can still set up your own, and it's so easy to dial in. Um, and you can use the top row like stomp boxes. So if you want echo, button. If you want distortion, button. If you want delay, button. And they're so cool. And you can get them for about $250.
Really?
So yep, Digitech. I've been a fan of Digitech for a long time.
Get it
30
done
years
for you.
probably. Yep.
Get it done for you.
Yep. Digitech's absolutely awesome. Digitech, Randall, and Marshall, and I'm good to go.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Still enjoying doing it. And I play SIT strings. Made in Akron, Ohio forever.
I've used those for years myself, but
Yeah.
lately Diodario for me. I
Diodario,
don't know
yeah,
why.
they're yeah,
Uncoded. The coding gets all over the thing.
yeah,
But that's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. We're anything else that you really want to convey? Another road story maybe that Raven too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
saw Raven in Hilliard
In a
in a
garage
garage.
for $10. Okay, I'll give you a good one real
Oh,
quick. So we're we're in Canada on tour with Doro Pesh. Okay, '80s rock legend, sang with Warlock, absolute sweetheart. Her drummer Johnny D. We were going to a great big huge show in New York at the Gramercy Theater, and he's like, "Somebody told me you drove semi before," and I said, "Yeah," and I said that was a few years ago, and he's like, "Look." He goes, "We got a lot of special guests coming to this show. I have to be tight for this show." He said, "I would absolutely love to get some sleep. Can you drive this?" It was basically the size of a semi, and it was the band bus plus their trailer, 3 axle trailer. This thing's like 52 foot long. So me being me, I was like, hell yeah, I'll drive that thing. We're leaving a gig. I haven't slept all day because I'm so excited on this tour. So I'm like, yeah, I'll drive it, no problem. So their road manager comes up and he's like, "I'll sit up front with you, keep you company." I'm like, okay, cool, dude. So we get in this thing. Soon as we cross the border, Johnny D, the drummer for Doro, said, "You stay on this road." And he said, "Just stay on this road till you get to mile marker, blah, 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 blah." So this is like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I go over there. I am tired as hell. I can barely keep my eyes open. The dude gets in the passenger seat. This is a Kenworth. I mean, we're in a Kenworth.
yeah.
So I take off driving through the Adirondack Mountains of New York with Doro Pesh in the back. I'm like, I'm driving the Queen of Metal. I can't even remotely think about falling asleep.
With 52 feet behind you.
Yeah, all their gear, everything. So driving down the road, next thing I hear is snoring. I look over, we're 2 miles down the road, and their road manager's fucking gone. Snoring. Really, dude? Really? So I turned on the radio and I drove this thing till 7 o'clock in the morning after doing a show and no sleep.
To the next city.
Yep.
Tell him what he did to you when you pulled up at the Gramercy and I was out front.
Yeah. So I haven't seen her in 4 days because she couldn't go to Canada with me. Well, she could have, but she didn't. But anyway, we thought we were going to have more people than we did, yada, yada, long
Yep.
story. So anyway, I haven't seen her in 4 days and I'm missing the hell out of her. So I'm the first one at the door on the bus waiting to step off soon as we park so I can run up and grab her. I step off and I take off, and their road manager pushes me out of the way and runs over and starts hugging my wife. I'm like, seriously, dude?
Did he know her?
Yeah.
Just from being on tour, but yeah,
Okay.
he knew because I talked about how bad I'm missing my wife. So
He's messed with you.
yeah, as soon as we step off the bus, he shoves me and go runs, and I'm like, but here's a really cool thing. During that time, because I didn't finish driving into New York, there was still about a 4.5 hour trip, one on one for 4 hours with Doro Pesh. She's on one couch and I'm on the other couch. Absolute sweetheart of a woman. I owe her unpaid gratitude for letting me go on my first tour with her. I mean, she is an absolute sweetheart. What she represents is 100% what she is. She's all about the music. At 10 o'clock in the morning at a Pennsylvania roadside stop, all of us come out in our shorts or our sweats. She comes out in her full leathers at 10 o'clock in the morning at a Pennsylvania roadside rest.
Damn.
She was absolutely awesome. But yeah, that was the greatest 3 weeks of my life, probably, as far as music's concerned. Yeah, it was an absolute blast. I mean, going from city to city.
And you had Lori with you too, which is really pretty sweet.
All of it
For
except for
most-
3 shows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty sweet.
she got to go on the first leg and then the second leg and then the little half thing we did afterwards.
Tell him how we were able to do that
Oh,
with Mike and Heather getting up.
yeah. Well, the first part of the trip, the bass player's girlfriend followed the bus with her car because they couldn't, her and the girl couldn't come up till later, right before we walked on stage in Wisconsin, literally. So they drove up. So that car followed us around to the first three parts. Then we actually came home for a day because we had a day off. Then everybody piled in the van and drove to the Cleveland show. Then she came back. Then we went to Canada. Then we all met in the Poconos, and her brother, our brother and sister-in-law, her sister had a camper over in the Poconos that we stayed in so we could do the last two shows of the tour. So we were actually in there for 4 days in the Poconos waiting on these last two shows of the tour. It was absolutely awesome.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, dude, it was so awesome. We got to play in Philadelphia. Like I said, 3 dates in Canada. Dude, if you've never seen Toronto, shit, Toronto's massive.
Yep.
I mean, you think New York's big? Don't even hold a candle to Toronto.
It's amazing.
My birthday touring with Doro.
Yeah.
It was your birthday?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh man.
She's swinging on light poles in Philadelphia, downtown Philadelphia. And I'm like, will you get your ass in here?
Isn't this not what music's all about?
Yep.
Honing your craft.
Yep.
Having all these fabulous experiences.
Yep.
And as a couple,
oh yeah,
the things you've seen and done and
yep.
experienced and enjoyed.
I mean, essentially, music's taken me all over the eastern half of the United States and Canada.
Went on a road trip from
Florida
here to Florida. Well, and look what happened in Tennessee.
Yeah.
What did happen in Tennessee?
We were doing a show down in Florida, and we did a couple gigs on the way down, did a couple gigs on the way back. So the last night of this little week-long run, we're playing at a place in Nashville, Tennessee. So they had gotten a band, and it was going to be us and then a headliner. So it was actually our show, but they wanted to bring in locals to, so they put a couple of their people on. Well, the band that was closing the night out asked if they could have a guest list. And I'm like, dude, we're, making money so we can get back home, And he's like,
told me I had to work their door.
Yeah, one of our people had to work the door also to collect the money. So, and that was our gas money to finish getting home, So anyway, I told the band, I was like, you know what, it's cool. I said, you can have each member of the band, obviously, and then one guest. And he's like, well, we don't need all that. We just need two people. And I'm like, okay, who's two people? And he goes, Lizzie Hale and Joel Hottinger. And I started laughing. I was like, yeah, you can put them on there like they're going to come here. And he said, no, they will. And I'm like, seriously? So we do our sound check, get ready to walk up on stage, and we hit our first notes and look out. And yes, there's that Lizzie Hale banging her head to my band. And I'm like, oh my God. So, of course, me after the show, I run out there all sweaty and playing fanboy, and she is just so cool. She gave us an autograph and stood and took pictures. We tried to get her up to do Hellbent for Leather with us, and she wouldn't do it.
Gosh.
But she was so cool. So instantly from that time, I've been a Lizzie Hale fan just because she was so cool and she come to see us play, and it was absolutely awesome. So
that is absolutely awesome.
She specifically came to see them play.
yeah.
So
we were like, awesome. Yeah.
Way too awesome.
So yeah, it's
awesome.
A lot of great experiences.
Nobody gets to do these things, man. You're fortunate. You guys are fortunate. You really are.
Extremely lucky.
But you worked very hard too. There's a lot of effort that's gone into preparations.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of ups and downs in there. But that's definitely life, is it not?
Yep. And I mean, Sanity Remains. My last, one of my last original bands was signed to Pure Steel Records in Germany. I mean, that's the label that Halloween's on. I sent them 3 songs that I wrote, and they were blown away. They was like, yep, we'll sign you, no problem. So the Sanity Remains CD was released on Pure Steel Records. So yeah, it's been, I've got to, extremely lucky. I've got to experience a lot of really cool stuff. I wish it would have lasted a lot longer than it did, but that's just wasn't in the cards for whatever reason. So, I'll go to the Dolphin Lounge and rip your face off,
But you've got some other shows after that too. You've got several lined up.
Yep.
And you're going to keep rolling.
Yep, absolutely. September 6th, we are at the Black Swan in Hilliard.
Nice.
great venue. Got a really nice stage, nice light show. Relatively new place, I'm hearing, but yeah, the owner got a hold of me and she's like, '90s stuff, I want you in here, and we're like, absolutely, So
You're so smart for kind of, focusing in on that body of work, right?
yeah,
There's some good rock,
there
pop,
is, yeah,
danceable
absolutely.
music that's in, 90s rock.
90% of the songs we play, I guarantee you, were played on the radio at one time.
Yeah.
There might be a couple outside of that, but you will know the songs that we play. I guarantee it. Even if you weren't a fan really of the '90s, you will know the songs that we are playing. And they're not all the grunge stuff. They're not all the depressing woe is me stuff. We picked a lot of upbeat stuff. If you want to dance for 3 hours, I guarantee you'll be able to dance to every single song we play.
Right. You hear that, Lori Dolphin? Jill is coming.
Yep.
Saturday night.
Can't wait, man. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. I wish you the best.
Thanks, buddy.
And my plan, my plan's to be there.
Awesome.
Because of the timing of all this, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna do everything we can. Beth has a gig on Sunday,
Oh, yeah.
and then Friday night, I'm gonna go see some friends somewhere. But then Saturday, I'm gonna see you.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
I
can,
think that's the plan.
again, I'm so good friends with those guys. I'm going to promote their show. Friday night, Clubber Lang is opening up for Jefferson Airplane at the,
Starship.
or Jefferson Starship, sorry, at the balloon thing in Marysville. So
That's,
have a great gig, guys. I can't be there because I'm prepping for my show.
that's a big deal, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, but again, there's so many great bands in town. If you're not out seeing these bands, shame on you. I mean, seriously, there's so many good bands, just the ones that I talked about, and go out and see some music, man. Stop with the politics, stop with the news, stop with the blah blah blah. Go see a band.
Go have some fun.
Well said, Steve.
Yep. So
Well, I know many, are in your corner. They wish you the best with this new cover band. It's going to be awesome this weekend, and you know, I think
thank
everybody would wish you only the best
thank
for
you very
what you're,
much.
what you're pursuing. I hope you have so much fun with this,
Yep. I'm sure we will.
and entertaining your girl out in the audience.
Yep.
And,
Thanks for calling me a girl.
well,
I really like that.
you do or you don't?
I
do.
Did I offend you?
No, I love it.
I
Be a
don't. I
girl
don't.
all the time.
I don't think you could offend either one of us.
No. No, I don't get offended.
But again, Lynn, thank you so much for having me here. Thanks for the Buffalo Trace. Thanks
Oh.
for
Now you have larceny.
larceny. So.
We hung out though. We hung out.
Absolutely.
And it makes it easier to have a conversation like this. And
Yeah.
I think one of the goals is to get a sense of who we're talking to, and I think we got a big amount of Stacey Donahue tonight. I love it.
At the Hairy Buffalo, it was absolutely hysterical because you hugged me and said, "Hey, how you doing?" I turned around to Beth and she goes, "Hi, my name's Beth." I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Oh my God, I didn't recognize you with your glasses on."
You know what? We're gonna cut Beth a little slack, man. I mean, I will venture to say I don't think anyone is busier than Beth.
Probably.
I mean, but between her day job, her theater, and the music project that she's involved in, and then me.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a pretty broad,
Yeah.
broadly faceted life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome being with her, and you got to cut her a little slack when she doesn't recognize you. That's all I'm saying, man.
What about when you don't?
When I don't recognize, I always recognize Lori, but it takes me a second to figure out why I'm seeing her.
Oh,
You know, Like
Usually because of me.
usually because of Stacey. Yeah, and I don't, and I get confused sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's my age bracket.
Hey,
It's not you, Lori. It's me. Okay.
we're all headed that way. Trust me.
Yeah.
Look again, Stacey Donahue. Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and I love the stories, and I love the fact that you got the shot in the arm. You know,
Yep.
it's going to be a great time for
Yeah.
you.
Should be a
Best
lot
of
of
luck
fun.
to you.
Yep. I
Okay.
appreciate it, man.
Episode number 78 of Columbus Local Podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.